Hello.
Hello.
We were just talking about this is episode 192.
Yeah.
That's almost 200.
It's 10.
But also that's
over-
still 2 months away.
What do you mean?
Because it's eight episodes is 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it feels close, but like
Yeah.
it's still a while away.
Yeah, it's 2 months.
Yeah.
Understood.
That's
Makes
even
sense.
like when we hit 150, I was like, oh wow. And then it's like, but that's a year away from from 200. So that's cool. We got to figure out what are we doing for 200.
I don't know. I think you
We
had
could
an
follow
idea.
that former. Well, I have a slightly new idea that's sort of similar. Did you turn things down again? I feel like I am quiet to me.
I've been, because I turned up us
Yeah.
and then I turned you down here.
Okay.
Oh, and I did another thing too. So I could turn you back up.
Can you turn me back up at least in my headphones?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just turning up your headphones.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Yeah, it makes sense as to why it seems quieter.
Yeah.
It seems quieter because it is quieter because I.
But anyway,
turn
I have an
everything
idea about the format for 200 that's similar to 100.
Okay.
So
I forget what 100 was.
100, we listened to 2 songs by a band.
Yeah.
And it was
Now it's going to be 4 songs.
well, no. It's still 2 by a band, but it's
Okay.
we can talk about it off air.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air.
Little sizzle.
Little sizzle reel.
Yeah.
So
You were in Chicago.
well, hold on. We'll start here first.
Bo was at the DNC. He was a super delegate.
I was. Anyways, on
And he voted for JD Vance, which was weird.
it was weird. Okay, so August 10th,
Yes.
Green Day was supposed
Day
to
of
play
Green.
Hershey
But he blew out his voice
on
after the Philly show the night before,
yes.
somehow.
Well, it was like during.
Yeah, well, sure.
And you could
Just
tell.
the way their thing was phrased.
Yeah.
They're like, Billy Joe came off stage and didn't have a voice or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
lost his voice. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I bet it happened in the previous 2 hours.
It did. It did. I'll explain that in a little
Were
bit.
you at the show?
I was going to go to that show.
The Philly show. The Hershey show.
No, the Hershey show.
Yeah.
But it was canceled or postponed
Yeah.
to
September 2nd.
September 2nd. So I'll be seeing them again on September 2nd.
School night.
Yes, a school night. But there's no school that day.
Okay.
Anyways.
So it's Labor Day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went to see Green Day.
Which was yesterday as this airs.
Yeah, I just saw Green Day
Just saw Green Day.
in
That's
Hershey.
great.
It was yesterday. It was amazing. But 3 weeks ago,
recording.
3 weeks ago, I
Yeah.
went to see Green Day. Green Day, Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas in Chicago at Wrigley Field.
Oh, cool. I've never seen a concert in a stadium, a baseball stadium.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I dig it. It was a beautiful day.
Uh-huh.
It just kind of sucked at the very, very beginning because like the sun was coming down and then it went behind like one set of bleachers and then there was a little peeky through
Yeah.
and then it went through there and I'm like, and then it went down and it was gone.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad I went. I'm so glad that I saw the Smashing Pumpkins. Did they play the best they've ever done? No. Was it a great set? Yes. Were the song choicing awesome? Like one song I didn't know and it was a cover.
Okay.
I've discovered now that like, well, I knew this. So bands play a set list and they don't really deviate from that set list
Night to night.
night to night.
Yeah.
So you can figure out like, well, what are they going to play tonight?
Uh-huh.
You can look that up on the internet.
Yeah.
And also they're updating like what they're playing this night.
Yeah.
So
Billy Strings has been posting. He'll post the next day after his concert, like what the set list was the night before, which is pretty cool. Because that was one of the things when I saw him. Did I talk about that I saw Billy Strings?
no.
All right, I'll talk about that in a minute then.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Interrupting me.
Well, I was going to relate it to what you're talking about, but if I haven't
Yeah.
talked about it all, I'll have my own separate.
So the driving sucked because on Monday I drove up to Erie. Tuesday drove over to Chicago. I didn't have to drive, which thank God.
Yeah.
Saw the show. Drove back to Erie on Wednesday, and then I was like, "Will I get home before 8 o'clock if I leave right now?" No, so I'm just gonna stay. So I stayed the night, and then drove home on Thursday. So 4 days of
4
driving
days to go to one concert.
for 3 hours of
Yeah.
a concert.
Worth it.
It was.
Yeah.
And then Green Day played. First off, have you ever seen Rancid play? Like even Warped Tour?
No.
Okay. They're bad. but they've always been.
I mean,
bad.
and they would not have been a band that I would go to see.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they're bad. Like they're great musicians, but like they haven't gotten better or worse. They've just kind of stayed the same.
Yeah,
like Tim Armstrong doesn't really sing.
Yeah,
and he's like,
sure,
right? Like he's mumbling.
Yeah,
and not really playing guitar. So, but it's like, oh, cool. And then they brought out, they're like, hey guys, your local boy, here he is. And this guy comes out, and no one knew who it was. And they're like, it's CM Punk, who's a wrestler.
Oh, right. Oh, you didn't recognize? Like, he's pretty recognizable.
If I like, they didn't really like zoom in on him. He had a hat on, and like he wasn't. Like,
oh yeah.
So it's just like, and they're like, oh,
he wasn't shirtless and
yeah, he wasn't like
sparkly pants. Or
he
whatever.
wasn't dropping pipe bombs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so CM Punk's there on stage, and like, oh, cool. And then I don't think the other two members of my party know who that is because like they didn't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's CM
I don't
Punk.
watch
He's
wrestling
wrestling
either, but like I know who that is. Yeah.
So they're like, who's that? And I'm like, that's CM Punk. Who? I was like, why is he here? It's like, anyway, it doesn't matter. Like he's kind of like in that world. So they played their set. We were coming in either right when they started, so we missed the Linda Lindas completely.
Oh shoot! I was going to ask how they were because
I did because so they don't live that far away from the stadium, but it's Chicago. So it's like rush hour.
Years to get there.
And Wrigley Field's in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, it's surrounded by a parking lot.
Wrigleyville.
Yes. Yeah. You should go there. See a baseball game.
Yeah.
Go to Wrigley Field. And then Smashing Pumpkins come out. They play really well. The camera, they got a new guitar player.
Okay.
I forget what her name is, but they didn't really show her that much. They're showing like
Billy,
Jimmy, and James. Sure. Like they're just showing them. In Tonight when he says believe in me, he said believe. I don't know, it was weird. It didn't make sense. I think maybe he was just like messing around.
Yeah.
But apparently that's the first time they played in Wrigley Field. And they're from Chicago. They're from Chicago.
Okay.
And apparently Billy lived in that neighborhood at one point and had a purple house.
Okay.
And was like, yeah, I live in Wrigleyville in a purple house. And like, everyone knows what house they're speaking of.
Turn around and go.
That's that one right there. Played really well. I forget how many songs they played, but that's when I found the set list. So I'm like, oh, okay, now I know where, because I had to go to the bathroom during today. Like they start and like they're playing. I'm like, crap. But you can hear them.
Greatest P of my life.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Smashing Green Day comes out, and you know what? Like, do you understand what the tour is?
It's American Idiot and Dookie?
Yeah, so it's the 30th anniversary of Dookie, and it's the 20th anniversary.
30th anniversary of what?
Dookie.
Dookie. It's not Dookie. It's not like cookie.
Dookie.
Side note.
Yeah.
At Hershey Park.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I don't know if they still do it.
Wait, I think I know what you're going to say.
The Dippin' Dots thing? I think it was Dippin' Dots.
Keep going.
They would turn like their ice cream flavors into like Halloween things.
Oh yeah.
So they had
you've told this
instead
before.
of cookies and cream,
they had
SPOOK, Spookies and cream, or Spookies and cream. Yeah,
Spookies and cream.
But it should be Spookies. Also, it's not. You've been saying Dookie for 30 years.
Yeah, whatever. It's Dookie.
It's Dookie.
Whatever. Cool. Anyways, so they're playing.
It's like a thing. It's not like they didn't invent that word. It means like poop, but like
it's poopy. Anyways, so they're playing both albums in their entirety.
It's poop. Do you say poop?
Shut up. Just move on.
Go pick up the dog poop.
Anyways, they're playing the entire set, right? Like both albums.
Yes.
Which really goes to show that like I know.
And did they go front to back?
Yeah, front to back.
Cool.
So I know the older record much better than I know the newer record. So like.
Yeah, I mean, American Idiot I didn't listen to, but I've seen the musical twice. So that's probably where I would know the songs more.
Yes. So like the last two songs. So there's Wake Me Up When September Ends is the third from last track. And then...
Oh, God. Those memes are going to happen soon again.
Yeah, they are.
So annoying.
Well, you know.
Everybody remember to wake up Billy Armstrong. Wake him up.
No, it's that guy from Green Day. All right, so the last two tracks are Homecoming, which maybe I do know Homecoming, but then What's Her Name? That's like the last track. I'm like, I don't know that song. I don't know a lot of the songs that are on that record.
Assuming it's in the musical, I would know it from there.
Here, I'll just start playing it. It was probably Blues Parade. No, I was wrong. I thought it was going to go down. I had the chance to play this, but I chose not to. Like the musical.
Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah, okay, cool. But I didn't know that song at all. So they played both albums in their entirety and some other songs.
Yeah.
Now, they kind of take a break. Mike Dirnt does a costume change.
Okay.
He takes off the red long sleeve jumper from Basket Case and puts on a short sleeve jumper or work outfit from that time period.
Okay.
From the American Idiot time period. They played like new songs off the new record. So like Bobby Sox, Know Your Enemy, American Dream Is Killing Me. I forget what else, but like just like and Time of Your Life. Obviously, that's their closer. Really good set. Explosions. So on the second, get ready to just hear pow.
Okay.
Like so loud, like louder than everything else.
Yeah.
But a good show. Great show. Recommend. That's why I'm like going again.
Yeah.
And not, I mean, both tickets were technically free. But the second time I could have given it back and be like, yeah, it's a Monday night. I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, it's close and I already have the tickets. So
a friend of mine had free tickets for the Hershey show. I wonder if she still does.
You should go.
Because I couldn't go.
Because it was a set.
Well, I had a performance on that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go tell your Billy Strings story.
Because I went to, the weekend that I saw Billy Strings, I did a lot of stuff actually. So I went to see 2 musicals and a play and a Billy Strings concert all in like 3 days.
What play?
The play is called POTUS, and then there's a subtitle which I should look up.
Presidents of the United States of America? POTUS?
President of the United States of America.
Was she Lump?
No.
Peaches?
POTUS, or behind every great dumbass are 7 women trying to keep him alive. A play by Selena Fillinger. By the way, you will not do this one at school because they open with a C-bomb and then say it a whole bunch of times. So that it's these 7 women. So I saw it was a staged reading, which I had never been to before.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was at Open Stage, which I had also never been to before somehow. But anyway, so it was these 7 characters, 7 women, and there is like the press secretary, his chief of staff, the first lady, his sister who's in jail but then gets out, like a staffer, a reporter, and then this girl named Dusty, who you later find out is like president's side piece that he like flew in from Iowa, and also she's pregnant. But it's this like whole thing, and it's all them behind the scenes and things, and they talk about POTUS all the time, and like he's an idiot and all this different stuff, and like yeah, it's really good. They did a phenomenal job with it. Like all 7 of them were like perfect, you know what I mean, like for all the character stuff. And I went because my friend Maggie was in it, and she was great, and like just the whole thing was really, really great. And they had like a little bit of like Foley stuff and like some props and things, and they had like a person who would like introduce each scene and stuff, and it was really cool, and it was really well done. It was really funny. So I saw that, and I also saw Tick Tick Boom for the second time because it was the 4th and final show of that friends were in and put on. And then I also saw Escape to Margaritaville, the Jimmy Buffett jukebox musical. Which was silly, but they also did a great job with that. So I had asked, I had not intended to see that show because I didn't think I could, the Escape to Margaritaville show. Okay. So when my friend Eric had seen it, I was talking to him, and I was like, I just need to know, like, I'm sure this is silly because it's a Jimmy Buffett musical. So like how great's it going to be really, you know? And jukebox musicals are sometimes hit or miss,
Would American
miss.
Idiot, is it
It's a jukebox musical, for sure. Yeah, but it's like...
Is it though?
Well...
Because I understand a jukebox musical is more like we're picking and choosing. Like, is Mamma Mia a jukebox musical?
Yes, because it's just different random songs. But American Idiot is like...
It's a concept record, so...
Yeah.
What else does that it's just like, it's the album?
Like The Who's Tommy.
Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't consider that. I mean, that was
Well,
before.
and like... Now, this is different. So those were like... Tommy was like written to be a musical, right? Or was it a concept album that became a musical?
I think it was a
because like Jesus Christ Superstar, I think
that
was like
meant to be a musical,
but it was like a concept record first.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's different. Like I think of jukebox musical as like you are taking
pick and choose
to
fit the theme,
to fit the narrative or whatever. Yeah. So and you like just pick the hits.
Yeah.
Like so what's her name?
Yeah. I'd be like, what is that?
But then there's a character named What's Her Name. So like. It's anyway. So I had asked my friend Eric, I was like, I just need to know, how do they get into Cheeseburger in Paradise? Because that's going to be in there.
Okay.
Right? Because like I realized I was like, oh, I know 3.5 Jimmy Buffett songs.
Yeah.
One that I forgot about or didn't even know that it was a Jimmy Buffett song. Margaritaville and Cheeseburger in Paradise. And then there was another one that was like, oh yeah, I kind of know that one. So I was like, I just need to know this. Because again, I didn't think I was going to get to see it. So like, I was like, I just need to know how they do that. And so the premise of the whole show is that there's this woman and she's engaged and her fiance sucks. And he's like, you got to go on a diet and like all this different stuff and blah, blah, blah.
And that's how they get to Cheeseburger?
Well, eventually. But her friend, and then there's her friend who's like the like uptight, I'm all about work one. And so the two women go on like this trip before the wedding. It's like little girls trip before the wedding or whatever. And the fiance, so she can kind of just get away and clear her head before the wedding. And then the friend to be there, but also like, I'm studying soil samples and there's a volcano here and blah, 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 which is how they get to the song Volcano. Anyway, in the second act, it's like at the wedding or like maybe it's the rehearsal dinner, I guess.
Yeah.
It might be the rehearsal dinner. They're like going to eat or whatever. And he's like, here's your quinoa or whatever nonsense. And then there's like this tray of cheeseburgers and she's going to eat one. He's like, you can't eat that, blah, 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 like whatever. He's just a jerk. And then she sings this whole song about Cheeseburger in Paradise. Like, you should have one. And like, they're good and it's fine and whatever. But that's it. But then
you're really selling us on it.
I know, it's silly. It's like, again, jukebox musical, like it's gonna be silly and like the story is not the most cohesive thing in the world, but they did a great job with it. But then my friend Patrick was telling me that on Broadway when he saw it, they had like a salad bar on one side of the stage and then like a tray of cheeseburgers like on the other side of the stage, and they like flew her between them like Mary Poppins style.
Okay.
Like wire stuff. Yeah. That's how they would do it. They would like fly her back and forth between the thing. And I was like, that's ridiculous.
Hey.
But also kind of amazing.
Make it a huge
But he was also saying that the theater that they did it on Broadway, they had like the whole thing set up. Like you felt like you were in the resort and whatever, which is kind of cool. So yeah.
In Margaritaville.
In Margaritaville, yeah. But then in between those things, so it was Escape to Margaritaville Friday night, Billy Strings Saturday, and then POTUS and Tick Tick Boom on Sunday. I went to see Billy Strings.
Yes.
Great concert.
Very cool.
Great concert. Foo Fighters could never, is what I'm saying. Because it was right after you had seen Foo Fighters, and you're like, well, they played, 2.5 hours or whatever, blah, blah. No opener.
Yeah.
2 sets.
Yeah.
So much music. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Suck at Foo Fighters.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I forget who was, crap. It was Bruce Springsteen. He played just recently and like played 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all like,
well, because he's got 3 hours of bangers. Like, yeah. So anyway, so I went early to State College for a couple of reasons. One, there is a bookstore / music store / cafe situation that I had gone to before when I was up there to see an opera. And I was like, okay, I'll go early and I'll go there. And so I'm in there and I'm like getting some books and I'm getting some records, and these people come in. They had like Billy String shirts on, and the guy running the like little record store, little record kiosk thing in there was like, "Oh, you guys are here for the concert?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, I haven't really listened to Billy Strings yet." And they're like, "Well, he was just in the Starbucks like across the street." And they're like, we invited him to come over and like dig through some records, and he thought about it for like a half second. Then he's like, "Nah, I got to get back," or whatever. But that's kind of cool. Like he was like right there. But then I went early because he's been doing show specific posters.
Yeah.
And they'll do.
I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, but he's been like, it's like a thing, and so what they do is they open the merch thing at 4:30.
Yep.
And then so from 4:30 to 5:30 you can come in and get merch, and then you can leave.
Yep.
Which is the nice thing. And so it was pouring all day. Yeah. Like my whole drive up was pouring down rain. I get into the thing, it's pouring down rain. So I park at Bryce Jordan Center. I've never been to Bryce Jordan Center before. I parked there, and I parked at this thing like there's parking like right there, and it says like 15-minute parking only, must put on your flashers. And I'm like looking at the line. I got there at like 4:17, and I'm like, oh, there's a line out the door already, of course, but it's raining. And I was like, well, it's not that long of a line. Like it hopefully shouldn't take too long. So like, let me see if I have an umbrella. Like I hope I have an umbrella, but if not, I'll just go stand in line. So I put my flashers on. At like 4:20, I go stand in line. And I'm glad I went when I did, because one, I did have an umbrella, so I was pretty dry, which was nice. But then as I'm in the line, I find out that they had already let in probably like a couple hundred people because of the rain.
Yeah.
So they let those folks inside, and then that was a cluster because it's not, the way they have it set up is not designed to have a couple hundred people inside already. It's you're supposed to go through, be outside, then go through like this one little hallway. Basically you go through like the ticket office, then you go through like this little hallway, and then you're shuffled into like 5 or 6 checkouts. You know what I mean? Like 5 or 6 different people you can check out. So then there's already like 200 and some people inside, and they're trying to like figure that out and whatever. So it ended up being kind of a cluster, but I still made it in. It took about an hour. They had closed the door at some point behind us. Like they just probably cut it off and just cut people off, and are like, yeah, sorry, you're gonna have to wait 30 minutes until the doors open at 6.
Yeah.
But then also you can't leave, which is the problem for those folks.
Yeah.
So I get in line and get my stuff. I got the show night poster. So the way he's pretty much been doing, where there's like one poster that has like both nights on it.
Yep.
And then there's like 2 posters that kind of go together. That is like one for each night, because he's been doing all these 2-night sets. So that's kind of the way it's been working. So I got the like night of poster, which had a tortoise on it. It's like really cool. And I also bought his album Revival that I've been listening to a lot, and his new live album. I bought those 2 on vinyl and got some stickers and the poster. It was great. So, and the show was phenomenal. The only 2 bad parts of the show were the guy sitting right behind me and the like 6 people in my row.
Okay.
Were dumb. The guy right behind me, I think there was like a crew of like, it was like a double date, like a group date situation.
Yeah. And
this guy, he's young and dumb and whatever, and he was trying to like flirt with this girl the whole night, and he was like real bad at it. And at one point, I'll talk about it off air because it was just ridiculous. The thing I heard him say to this girl, "Oh no, it's a compliment. Shut up." And then he was like, and like a lot of people stood. I was like, I'm just gonna sit, But he would like kept bumping me in the back of the head, and I'm like, bro, back up into your seat if you're gonna stand.
Yeah.
Like. And he would have been bumping me if I was standing anyway. But I'm like, it happened too much. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Sit down, or like go away. This is what I really wanted. And then the people in my row were also like college kids and whatever, and they just couldn't. They're like in and out, going to the bathroom, going to get drinks, going to get food, coming back with beers and this and that. I'm like, just sit down and listen to
yeah.
It was annoying. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, like just sit and watch the thing. Like it was dumb. And oh god, and then the one point, the whole like, we are Penn State, like that whole deal. Yeah. There was the dude beside me at one point in like kind of a quiet moment, like between songs, like they're like tuning and like whatever.
Yeah.
He tries to get a We Are Penn State thing going.
Yeah.
And it's like, first of all, no. I don't care that we're on Penn State's campus at Bryce Jordan Center. No, this is not.
And it's during the summer.
The time or place for that.
Yeah.
And the only person that responded was like one of his bros that was like in the row with them or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, now you're here for him to do this. You couldn't be in the bathroom or getting a beer for the 19th time. So he's trying to get that happen. It's not happening. And you can tell he's like, what the heck? Like, why is no one doing this? Because it's not the right space for that.
Yeah.
Also, in sort of hearing people in line or like people in town or whatever, there are people from like hours away. Like you drove to Chicago to see a thing. There are people here from many hours and many, many miles away because this was the one that they could come to. Or I got the sense too that he's developed kind of like a following where like people will follow him to shows. You know what I mean? Oh, we live within 6 hours of these like 4 shows. Well, let's go to all of them.
Yeah.
You know, or let's go to one of each kind of thing. So it's like, shut up with your We Are Penn State thing. Like, because no one here is here for that. And also people don't even know what that is and just shut up. So, but anyway, they played a phenomenal set, 2 sets, like just the whole thing, but it was just them, no opener. The second set was like a lot of like this song, and then we kind of open it up.
Yeah.
And then we maybe close it down, and now we're into this next song.
Okay.
And then we open it up. Like there was like a moment where they played for like probably 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and they'd played like 4 songs in that time.
Okay.
And those songs on the record are like 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just like open it. It was cool.
The Dave Matthews set.
Sure. Yeah, it was cool. And then I also then went back and listened to his WTF interview. Now that I'm like more into him and understand or whatever. And like, yeah, they're bluegrass, but they're also jam and they're also a little psychedelia and they're a little like kind of all over the place. So, but it was cool. It was a really, really good show. And it was just the 5. It's him on guitar mostly. He did 1 song on banjo, fiddle player, banjo player, mandolin player, bass player. That's it. Like very traditional bluegrassy, no drums, you know. So it was really, really great. I'm like already trying to figure out when can I go see him again. Yeah. Because it was that good. Also got a nice little friendship bracelet from some lady. I'm not wearing it now. It's actually a little too tight, but I have it in my car. But she's like, yeah, no, I don't want anything for him. I just made them and just want to hand them out. I was like, oh, that's very sweet. And it was like when I was in line in the rain, she was handing these out. So it was cool. Yeah, it's a very like, he just played with Fish also. Like they invited him to come in and like sit in with the band a little bit. And he even posted, he was like, this was like a dream come true. And he was like, I kind of thought maybe I'd play like 1 song. And then I ended up just like being there for like a whole set and just like finding his way. And there was one point too, after they finished the 1 song where he kind of thanked the audience. He's like, thank you for that. He's like, you know, like they went into like with the jam of like whatever tune. And he's very much of that like bluegrass and jazz kind of improv thing of like, we're just going where the music takes us or where the crowd takes us or the whatever, you know, this night, this is how this song is, you know, and that was cool. But yeah, he's like, thank you for that. He's like, that you all took us to where that song went. Like, I was like, that's interesting. So yeah, it was cool. I think the next closest show he's going to be in Baltimore, but I don't think I can go because it's football. But yeah, I definitely want to. I also think it would be cool to go to 2 nights just to get both things, because that was something else I was hearing folks talk about in line. Like there was this one couple, they had been there the night before and then their friend was with them today or at that show. And she was like, well, what's he going to play tonight? Because I'm looking at the set list. This is back to the set list thing. She's like, I'm looking at the set list from last night and it's like hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm sure he repeated some things, but like it was mostly pretty different, but it was still, you know, obviously like really enjoyable. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
We're here to talk about the tunes. Sorry. You're first.
Okay. I should have looked up some information. So I was in North Carolina a little bit ago. Talked about this before.
Yeah.
And did some record shopping, as I like to do. And the one store in Durham is called Bull City Records.
Okay.
They are the Bull City. And he's got new stuff, and then he's got a used thing. So like I went to the used jazz thing, and I was like digging through there. And then he has like a punk section. I was digging through there, and then he had like some other stuff, and then I was like looking sort of around like the newer stuff, and on like the bottom of the one thing, it had like local bands, and I was like, oh, cool. So I was like, let me dig through there, and I don't know if you have this, like when you're digging through things, I have this like, I don't know, like sixth sense thing where I can just like, I can see a record and be like, I think I'm gonna like that one.
Okay, I don't.
And it's like a group I've never heard of, band I never, you know what I mean? There's just something about it. I was like, the band name and the album cover, I was like, I feel like this is one. And there was two that I came across in that like local artist section. And local just meant like North Carolina, not necessarily like Durham. But and so I pulled these two, and then I was like, let me like listen a little bit on Spotify, because I'm just gonna get one. Like one, unless they're like both really bangers, but like I'm gonna get probably just one of these. And so I did like both of them, but this one, Youth League, I just liked a little bit more, like the 30 seconds I heard or whatever. I was like, no, this is I'm gonna be into this. And I'm glad, because I really like this album. Nice. And this song in particular and stuff. But yeah, so that's where I found it, was from Bull City Records. So they are from, where does it say they're from? If it says they're from. Oh, they're from Durham. Oh, cool. Even cooler.
They were in the local section.
Yeah, but like they could have been from Charlotte or Raleigh or whatever. No, it's like lists them being from actually Durham, which is cool. This album is from 2002. It's called Somehow Those Were Days. But yeah, I just like, I don't know, something about that album cover. Like I just had a, like, I just was like, I just feel like this is going to be a band. I also have this weird thing, like when I'm in a used bookstore or like looking at like used books or whatever, particularly ones that are not like categorized. Like obviously if I'm in the music section, I expect to be able to find music books or whatever. But I have this like uncanny ability, not all the time, but like a lot of times where I can like see a book on a shelf and not be able to see like on the spine what it is or whatever, but just like pull that one and it's like a music book. Or like a music theory, like an old music theory text or something like that. So
okay,
that's kind of how it was. Yeah. But it'll be like in the midst of like just whatever, because it's like an antique place or something. So this album, it's only 8 tracks. It's real short. But the one kind of cool thing with it is it, like they do a lot of instrumental stuff. Like mostly instrumental, I think. Like the first track is instrumental. It's the shortest track, and then it doesn't like quite lead into the next one, but it's kind of that. So I was like, okay, they start with an instrumental and then the rest are sing. But it's like, no, there's instrumentals and there's like a few with vocals and things. But I really dig it. So I was glad I came across that.
Cool. So what's this track title?
This is 1999. It's all like spelled out in words.
Yep. Not the Prince song.
Not the Prince song. They list so they have genre tags on Bandcamp.
Yes.
But in their own bio, it says live looping post something trio. Also, they're playing Fest.
Like the bass.
Yeah. Rich, what do you think about it? The one thing I like too, like even the stuff with vocals, it's just musically so good, I think. Like they're creating these like kind of cool, like, I hate to say the word soundscape because that has like a different connotation, but like sonic world or something. I don't know. I feel like I'm like being washed over with the music, like in a really good way. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah. even then, like, this is a good chunk of this that's just instrumental.
Yeah.
It's like they did the tune and now they have this chunk.
Oh. Yeah. I was hoping that ba-na-na-na was happening again, but
yeah, I did get this album. They have 2
more.
EPs and then they have this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is from 2 years ago, so I'm hoping they have some new music coming out soon. They're obviously still a thing. Like I said, they're playing Fest in October, so
good.
Yeah, I dig it. I'm always glad to come across stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like when I'm out of state or out of town and they have like a local thing. I'm always happy to, dig through there. Especially, well, this wasn't labeled, but like some places are pretty good about labeling like what things are. They did. Mm-hmm. There was a record store in Kansas City called Revolution, which is closed, but they had a local thing. And I bought something from there the one time, which was cool. Did I ever relate this story? This would have been like last summer, about how I bought these records from this store in Kansas City, and I was like, "Hey, do you ship?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can ship it." And then I like never got them. Did I talk about this?
No, didn't. At least not that I'm aware.
So summer 23, I'm in Kansas City for the AP reading, and there's 2 record stores there, Josie Records and Revolution. And Josie had given me a big box to take my stuff with that I then mailed home to myself. And when I was at Revolution, I asked the guy, because I had bought like an LP and like a 10-inch and then like a couple 7-inches and a book. And I was like, "Hey, I'll keep the book with me, but can you ship these records home to me?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." And he's like, we'll get to it like tomorrow or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, this is no rush. Like I'm here for a week. Like it's fine."
Mm-hmm.
And, I get home and I get my records that I shipped myself.
Yeah.
And then like some more time goes by and I was like, "Hey, I never got those records from Revolution. I should give them a call." So I give them a call and I'm like, "Hey, this is really random." I think this was like August. So it's been like 2 months. I'm like, "This is really random." But I was there in June and I bought some records. I don't know what they were. But because I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, I bought some records and I had asked if they could be shipped and they said yes. And then that didn't happen. I was like, I don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were shipped, I don't have them. And if they weren't shipped, then whatever. And he's like, "Oh man, I don't know." He's like, I'll look, like I don't see anything like around here or whatever. He was like, "Give me like a day, call back in a day basically. And like, we'll figure it out." So I think it was like, I call back the next day or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't know." He's like looking or whatever. Or maybe it was even, I had to call back to talk to somebody else. Something like that.
Yeah.
So he's like looking and looking and looking. He's like, "You don't really remember anything." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I remember there was one LP that I got that was like a local-ish band." And I said there was like a 10-inch. I remember that, probably a jazz one. And then I said a couple 7-inches that were probably jazz or maybe punk, because that's the stuff that I go for mostly. And he's like, he stumbles across, he finds these.
Yeah.
There's like this LP and this 10-inch and these like 3 45s that are just like sitting together.
Yep.
And he's like, "Wait, is it this? Is it this? Is it this?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like now it's coming back to me. Yes, this Chris Connor 10-inch, this Jerry Mulligan 7-inch, this other 7-inch. And I forget the name of the band now, but he names the band the LP. And I was like, "Yeah, this is it. Like, awesome." He's like, "Oh, good. Like, glad we found it." He goes, "Oh, Brandon, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." There was a Post-it note that I had written my info on.
Yeah.
It's like stuck to the one thing, but it just got, and it's like no harm, no foul. Because the other thing is like, I guess like, I can go back and find my receipt or find my like bank statement of what I paid, because like they could refund me and stuff. Because I said I had all this stuff and then I had this book, and the book I kept with me. So anyway, yesterday or last week, I was talking about how I was like organizing or bagging, boarding my records or whatever. Yep. So I come across this 145 and it has this like handwritten note on it, and it says, "I didn't know we had this. One of my favorite punk bands. Thanks for being cool, Taylor." And then I had flipped, because it was on a Post-it note, I had flipped the like sticky part over.
Yeah.
and then wrote on the sticky part on the back, Revolution Records KC. So I knew what that was in reference to. But as soon as I saw that note, I was like, oh yeah, he threw in this extra thing just for me being cool about, hey, sorry we didn't ship your records for 2 weeks. But it was funny. But anyway, I was trying to look up I was trying to like look this one up. It says Helios Chrome, and I was like trying to look it up, and then like all this stuff kept coming up with this guy named Helios Creed, and he had a band named Chrome. And I'm like, it can't be that much of a coincidence, but why is it called Helios Chrome or whatever? But it turns out it's this guy, and it's this like little 45 that I found. And it's from like the 90s, so it was kind of cool. But anyway, I just was thinking about that for
that's super cool.
Some reason. Yeah,
good story.
Thank you.
It's gonna fill the space of the amount of stuff I know about my band today.
Okay.
I found that on TikTok. I was like, this sounds cool. And I listened to it. And then I'm like, this is still cool. And I listened to it again. I'm like, this is still cool. And I decided to bring it.
There you go.
The band is called Father of Peace.
Father of Peace.
Yeah, sure. The song is called Enemy. And then I looked up all of their information. They have an Instagram and they have a YouTube and and they have a TikTok and they have a Spotify and
no website.
That's it. Well, they have like a link tree.
Do they have a Bandcamp?
No, they don't actually. Yeah, no. And also when you look up Father of Peace, it goes to other things.
Jesus-y things.
No.
There's a song by Michael B. Lynch.
Yeah.
Father of Peace Band. Father of Peace Graham. At Father of Peace Graham.
It looks like it's a 3-piece. Bass, guitar, drums. They have to be, well, they don't have to be, but my assumption is that they're not from America. Because the lead singer has an accent. Or at least I hear an accent. Let me look at this, because there is a Bandcamp. That's not them, because that's Patrick Doherty, and the album is called Father of Peace.
Yeah.
So
I saw that as well.
That's all I got. But I'll play the song and I'll tell some things that I like about it, and that'll be what I know.
I get sick just thinking back to all the damage you've done.
I love how simple it is.
Don't know if I should, but if I could, I would kick you right out of the car. Kick you right out of the country.
It reminds me.
If you got hate in your heart.
What was I thinking of yesterday?
System of a Down?
Yes,
that's what it reminds me of.
That's exactly it. I just couldn't place it.
Yeah.
Later in the song, like the whole time I'm listening to it, I'm like, it's giving me vibes of something. And later in the song, when he does like more yelly vocals, and I'm like,
so this right here, it's like starting to creep in.
Yeah,
his like high pitch, his falsetto, and then here, then this is.
You're a part of me.
And then I think
they might be Israeli.
Maybe. But it goes like bump, ba-dum, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, bump. Which is...
To this day I'm having...
I think it does that. I could be wrong.
Avshalom Ariel is the singer, lead singer.
Where do you find this information from?
Just clicking on their individual Instagram things.
Okay.
And the April.is.music, her thing is all in Hebrew.
Cool.
Forget me right now. As you leave our town. Forget me right now.
And Avshalom Ariel is also lots of things in Hebrew.
You can be sad.
Have you listened to more of their stuff?
A couple songs.
I'm just curious, like
they just have a bunch of like singles.
Yeah. Like I want to hear like one other song to decide if I'm like in on them or not yet.
Yeah.
Like I dig, like this is cool, but I don't know if I want. I'm just curious, like what else? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is the musically reminds of System of a Down.
Yeah.
And I think that's like just like scraping the strings.
Okay.
I don't think it's there anymore. There it is.
Yeah.
Forget me
have a bunch of singles that all came out this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This was the moment when I was like, oh yeah, System of a Down. But not even like derivative of like just their own thing, but like it's got that vibe too. Yeah.
Like his vocals.
I always feel bad when we're like, this reminds me of this other thing. But like, I don't know, that's how our brains work. We like make connections with things.
And it's only like guitar, bass, and drums. And vocals, obviously.
I dig it.
Here, let's
listen to one more.
Let's see if we can sell you. I'm just gonna go show.
Here's a meme that just popped up related to last week. Nobody's born into liking BDSM. You hear Closer by 9 Inch Nails in a teen, and that awakens the demon.
Yes. So here's their latest single, which came out August 15th. Mm-hmm. The Land of Foreign Suns, SUNS. Play. Go play. Will it play? Is it going to play?
In the land of foreign suns, I can mix
But it's
with
kinda
anyone.
Beachy.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause my curious
So just skipping around.
in the I'm shaking, raking.
Okay. Interesting.
This is after like the chorus, maybe.
Yeah.
In the land of foreign suns, all the
But they only have 5 songs. But Enemy seemed really cool because it has that.
Yeah.
So those 2 songs are completely different from each other.
You can hear the
Yeah.
connection. I was with. Do you want to hear another meme?
Sure.
Damn girl, are you a Cybertruck? Because you look stupid as shit.
Okay, so I on my way to Chicago, we saw so many.
Oh no!
And like, so first off, we saw like a tractor or a truck that was carrying other.
Yeah.
And they had like 3 of them. Yeah. They're all the same color because they only have the one color.
Yeah.
But then we saw one that was riding, and they must have like.
They buff it out and it's all shiny?
No. Oh. They put like a skin over it, and it was kind of like shiny teal.
Oh, interesting.
So they like, oh, we're going to pimp it out. I'm like, they're so ugly.
Yeah.
And we started talking about like electric cars and Teslas, and I'm like, I don't really like the cheap one. So I work over at Menchie's, and there's a Tesla charging station there.
Yep.
And you can see all of like, they just, they keep coming in.
Yeah.
They're always there all the time because it's a gas station. Of course, there's going to be cars there all the time. But everyone kind of has the same model, which I think is the 3, which is the more affordable one.
Probably.
And they don't like. It's so weird because you'd think that like like a car is a car. It's like there's not much different between like most SUVs. Like the shape is the same.
Yeah.
But
like Tesla only makes like 3 cars.
They make 4.
Okay.
There's the S, the 3, the X, and the Y.
Sure.
It's supposed to spell sexy.
Oh my God. I hate it so much.
That's how I remember it. And then there's the Cybertruck, which the logo is welded into it.
Of course.
Like it's not really welded into it, but it looks like it's been welded into it. It's the worst of them. And the 3 looks, I mean, because it's cheaper, it doesn't look good. Like it just doesn't.
None of them look good.
No. There are some that like, oh, okay, that one's the good one, but I don't know which one it is because like they don't really have like the logo of the model.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, well, there's the Ford logo and then there's an Escape.
Right.
Or F-150 versus F-250 versus F-350.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's our show.
My friend Kyle worked for them for a bit.
Tesla?
Yeah. And like, he loved it. He still drives one, but I don't know. I just can't.
I think at this time now,
that guy sucks so hard.
Yes. We're at the beginning of like, I want an electric car, and the only people who make them are Tesla. So you'd get one. But now there are more electric vehicles. So Ford makes 2 different models.
They have an electric Mustang.
Yeah. The Mach-E
Sure.
is what it's called. It's not really. I mean, it's a Mustang, but it's not really a Mustang because it doesn't. It's an SUV. Have you seen one?
It looks weird. But
it's a Mustang because it's got the 3 lights.
Sure.
Like that's what it, and it's got the Mustang logo on it. It's not a Mustang. It's an electric car. It's called the Mach-E.
It's called a Stallion.
They should. But then they've got the Lightning, which is just an electric F-150.
Yeah.
And then I know that like Chevy has them.
The Volt.
Yeah.
And others.
Yeah. But like
Honda's got something. Like they all have like their one, maybe 2.
Which is right there. It's like, okay, well now you have choices.
Yeah.
You don't have to just go with Tesla, where they got rid of the best part of it, which is lifetime free charging. Like you could, if you went to a charging station, you just plug in and you're just like, okay, I'm charging my car.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you anything because it's built into the price of the car.
Yeah.
But they got rid of it. And they're like, because he went off the rails.
My friend has I don't know if it's a hybrid, because you charge hybrids too, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a hybrid there's an electric part.
And electric. Okay. Because my friend has a BMW and she was charging it in Kansas City.
So there's plug-in. So there's basically 4 levels of cars now. There's gas.
Yep.
Fully electric. Hybrid, and then plug-in hybrid.
Okay.
So it's a hybrid. It's like when the car's on, it's charging the battery, and then whenever you like stop the car or go below a certain speed, it'll kick into the electric mode and won't use the gas. And then the plug-in hybrid is, I think it does the same thing, but you can plug it in and charge it. So like, it's not, you don't have to run the engine to charge it up or whatever. So anyways,
cool.
That's our show.
Yeah.
Follow, like, subscribe, do all the things.
Share.
Tell your friends.
Let other folks know.
We've been doing pretty good lately.
Cool.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.